Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Brain Waves. I want to talk to you all and give you all an update to this OceanGate situation. All right. This is essentially breaking news, at least as of the time of this live stream. You come back and watch this later, it may not be so breaking. But nonetheless, the current news is that OceanGate, the company, has suspended all operations, like, period. There are no commercial business, there's no operations whatsoever going on. And so I want to talk about this because I've been covering this story since the onset of everything that have taken place. If you're unaware of that, feel free to check out my previous videos that I have here on my channel. I've broken down a lot of things. I made a lot of connections. I've done the work. So the videos there, etc., etc. And so with this one here, this is essentially a scapegoat. All right. I've talked about how a lot of things were suspect, certain things didn't add up, etc., etc. I'm going to go back and show you a couple of things. And the current events essentially have been making or presenting Stockton Rush, who quote unquote is no longer with us, who left us with the implosion on the sub. That's what we're told, right? That's the narrative that they're giving us. Well, they're painting him out to be this guy that just has no knowledge of anything. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's absolutely absurd. And, I just want to say this right off the bat. If this were true, do you really think that all of these billionaires that were aboard with him, right? They were on board with him, quote unquote. This is the narrative they're giving us, right? Do you really think they would sign up for this if they didn't have any type of trustworthiness in what Stockton presented them? I'm pretty sure they had the ability to take a look at the sub or the vessel, what have you, beforehand. Stockton did show his work publicly. And so there's just a lot of stuff that does not make sense, that if that were the case, and I get that people were saying, hey, they're raising questions and et cetera, et cetera. But if this was the case, don't you think that more people would have either said something way back when, or these people wouldn't have been on the sub with him, or the submersible, however you want to refer to it as. They wouldn't have paid their ticket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just doesn't make any sense, right, for the narrative that they're pushing. But they do these narratives all the time when there's a sacrifice. So what I want to go through, okay, I want to go through and show you all some things here. Okay, we're going to take a look at some more footage. Now, some of this footage you have already seen. Some of this you may not have seen. What I'm going to do first is I want to actually play the official story to let you know that this is legit. Because you all know that I always, if it is something that can be available at the time of breaking the story, I always provide receipts, okay? So what we're going to do now is take a look at the actual story, and then I'm going to get into some other things, okay? Let's take a look at this video here. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Feel free to participate in the chat. Y'all know when I cover these stories, I'm one of the few that does it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look and see this official report, okay?
And welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. I do want to get to some break.
So as you all know, this is Fox video, right, from Fox News. Let's go.
And welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. I do want to get to some breaking news that we are following at this hour. OceanGate Expeditions has indefinitely suspended all of its exploration and commercial operations following that catastrophic failure of its Titan submersible in late June. OceanGate made the announcement there via a banner on its website. Now, the company had previously offered expensive tickets to visit the ocean floor and the wreckage of the Titanic. The announcement reads in red text, quote, OceanGate has suspended all exploration and commercial operations.
And what I want to do is show you all the actual website. So right now, if I go to the website, you get this site can't be reached when you try to pull up any other tabs. But let's go take a look at the website. Okay, and y'all should see it right here at the top of the screen. I have it highlighted. It says OceanGate has suspended all exploration and commercial operations as it's been reported. Again, this has occurred according to the website, but as I mentioned, if you click on any of these links, you're going to get like, see, this site can't be reached. You're going to get this same error message on every single tab that they have available, but it is official on their website. Okay, again, you see it highlighted here at the top of the screen. Just kind of want to show y'all. Okay, so this is official. I mean, it is what it is. Let's see if I can. There. I mean, I can make it about as big as there is. So I just want to make it big so y'all can see that this is official on their website. You're welcome to go check it out, fact check it, and verify it for yourself. But this is the message that has appeared on their website. Okay, we don't know who put this message. We haven't been given an official statement, but essentially, not only have they suspended all exploration, but commercial operations, which means that this business is no longer in operation. Okay. Again, this is on their website, so you know it is what it is. I just kind of want to show that to y'all. So, nonetheless, I'm gonna continue the rest of the news article. I just wanted y'all to see that. Let's go.
This all comes after last month's implosion of the Titan submersible on its way to view the wreckage of the Titanic, killing all 5 people on board. Among the dead, the CEO of OceanGate, a father and son, also killed, along with a Titanic expert and well-known explorer. Now, the Coast Guard is investigating to determine what caused the vessel to implode in the first place and could recommend civilian or criminal charges there. Debris from the Titan had been collected from the seafloor more than 12,000 feet below and arrived over in St. John's, Newfoundland. Human remains were also recovered from the wreckage of that submersible, and the U.S. Coast Guard says medical professionals will now analyze the remains to provide positive identification. Again, at this hour, we are learning that OceanGate Expeditions has indefinitely suspended all exploration and commercial operations following that catastrophic failure of the Titan submersible just last month. OceanGate making that announcement banner on its website. As we do get more information on that, we'll bring it to you live, raw, and unfiltered right here on Live Now from...
Okay, so I wanted to show this to give you all the official report so that y'all don't think that this is some clickbait or something. Shout out to Maryland Edwards. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I truly do appreciate you. Y'all, if you like the work, please support the work. How do you support the work? You can hit the PayPal. You can hit the Cash App. Brainwaves, where's your PayPal? Where's your Cash App? Well, first off, you'll generally see it on the screen, okay? It's usually here on the bottom of the screen, right? It's not hard to figure out. It's also in the description box of every show, every live stream, the About tab that I have up on this channel. So that's an excellent way to support the work. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so and hit that like button, because I'm one of the few people. As a matter of fact, I'm the only content creator that's covering this story. If you pull up YouTube right now, at the time of this stream, you will not see another content creator or even news media outlets other than like maybe 2. Fox News, I know is 1, and I can't think of the other one. Let me see if I can pull it up. But no one's covering the story. Right? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, CNN is the only one. Let's just take a look real quick, because y'all be thinking I'm making this stuff up, right? Let's look here on the screen. Okay, so right now all you see is you see Forbes breaking news, and really I think that's it. Oh, and let me scroll down. Forbes breaking news and live now from Fox, which I showed the footage. And then I think now Sky News has just gotten it. Okay, they're the only people covering this besides me. I'm covering this story right now, but you know, it is what it is. You know how my stuff don't ever come up in the search. You know how I be the main one covering all these stories, and my content never comes up in the search. Somebody go make it make sense. If you go search right now for OceanGate suspends operations, my video should be one of the main videos that comes up. Now, maybe you may see it. I don't see it. All I see is this here. But the point that I'm making is there are no other content creators. None of them are covering this story right now with this update, right? None of them. I'm just trying to show you everything here is 2 weeks or a month ago or almost a month ago, whatever, days ago, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm the only content creator that is actually covering this story, just so y'all know. So make sure y'all get the likes up. All right. I'm the only one covering this story. And I don't even know if anyone knows that I'm covering this story. But I want to cover this particular story because there's an update to it. All right. What's up, Arnold? Pleasure to have you here. So what I want to show you all, as I mentioned earlier, this is just one big scapegoat to make somebody take the blame for it and take you all's eyes off of the particular story. Okay. Or should I say off of the culprits? Because where are these gentlemen? What happened to them? We saw no before, no during, no after. Okay. For all of this press and publicity and this media coverage with this story, we saw no before, no during, and no after. It was just like all of a sudden they hit us with boom. We're covering this story and that's it. So a lot of it's suspect. I went through a lot of this in my previous videos. I talked about potential what we might call alien life forms or different races. After all, I did the James Cameron connection. I'm the only content creator to this day who has covered the James Cameron connection. All right, no other content creator, they may have mentioned his name, but no other content creator has covered the James Cameron connection. After all, James Cameron made Avatar. And in this particular Avatar 2 is Way of the Water. And I talked about all of this, and they probably discovered some things. I showed the creatures, look like demonic creatures in the Mariana Trench that have already been discovered, where the submersible had went down and dived into. And I broke all of that down in my previous videos. But the point that I want to show you is this. So you've seen that it's legit, right? Now, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you the pieces, and then I want to show you how the submersible has been constructed. So let's take a look at this real quick, because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And I'm even going to play a clip in a second. Let's look at the vehicle first. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to take a look at the lady first, which is the mother and wife of the two, who are no longer with us, that were quote unquote on us up. So let's take a listen to this, right? Let's take a watch. All right.
The first time we are hearing from a family member who lost both her son and her husband on the Titan submersible. It imploded on its way down to the wreck, and all 5 people on board are presumed dead. In an exclusive conversation with our partners at the BBC, Christine Dawood said the dive had been a big adventure for her entire family.
Okay, notice what she just said. Christine Dawood. Let me just let this marinate for a second on the screen. Okay, this is supposed to be wife and mom of the billionaires on board, the billionaire, his son, that quote unquote are no longer with us, according to what they said was an implosion, right? She says, Miss Christine Dawood says, the dive had been a big adventure for her entire family. Now, She says it's a big adventure for her entire family. Yet we know that the billionaire's son, said he didn't even want to go on there. Let me show you something. He didn't even want to go on here, right? He didn't even want to go on here. Y'all remember that? Okay, let me just show this because y'all need to see this, how the story conflicts so many different ways, right? So many different ways. All right, so this is from People right here. You see what the story says. It says that the billionaire's father's 19-year-old son was reportedly terrified about the Titanic-bound excursion. And this is what the aunt says, and this is the information that came out first, right? But yet, we have this particular video here from his quote-unquote mother saying that, oh, this had been a big adventure. Like it was just so fun. As a matter of fact, keep listening.
Family.
I was really happy for them because both of them, they really, really wanted to do that for a very long time. Really, really wanted to do that for a very long time. Really, really wanted to do that for a very long time. Because both of them, they really, really wanted to do that for a very long time.
She says both of them really, really wanted to do this for a long time. Yet the narrative has been that he's been terrified about going on this excursion. Okay? Somebody make it make sense. So somebody's lying. I mean, this is just facts. Either the aunt is lying, the son is lying, the mom is lying. I mean, either way we look at this, people are lying. And this whole story has been nothing but lies. Like this entire story is lies. And even right now, this is a scapegoat. This is a lie where they're trying to they made Stockton Rush look guilty. I mean, obviously he's not here, but they've been getting all these people to speak out. You can call it a smear campaign, but they've been interviewing people over the past couple of days, a week or so. Let's talk to this person. Let's talk to this person. Everyone's like, oh, he shouldn't have did it. We told him not to do it. And, I'm going to get to that in a second. But what we clearly are seeing here is lies. She said, the aunt says that it's been crippling to him. Okay? And this is the narrative that came out. Look at this. Since the trip was scheduled to depart on Father's Day, Suleiman reportedly decided to go on a trip reluctantly, not happily, reluctantly, after having shared with a relative that he wasn't very up for it and felt terrified. So somebody's telling, either the media's lying, people are lying, People Magazine are lying, people in general are lying, the family's lying, the mother's lying. I mean, again, peep game now. Listen to what she said. This is
conversation with her partners at the BBC. Christine Dawood said the dive had been a big adventure for her entire family.
I was really happy for them because both of them, they really, really wanted to do that for a very long time. So it was supposed to be Shahzad and I going down. But then I stepped back and gave the space to Suleiman.
Okay. She says she stepped back and gave the space to her son, Suleiman, because he really wanted to go. But then yet we see that the articles say that he does not want to go. Okay? So they're all lying to y'all. They're all creating smoke and mirrors, a bunch of confusion. They want you to not know who's telling what's going on, all this confusion to keep people from understanding the truth. Okay? But it's clearly a big lie, right? I'll play the rest of it.
Because he really wanted to go.
The other victims include another paying guest, a renowned Titanic expert, and the submersible's owner. The U.S. Coast Guard and Canada's Transportation Safety Board are now investigating the cause of the accident. First time we're hearing from a...
So we know about this. So now what I want to show you is, I want to show y'all how the submarine was actually structured. Well, actually, let's get to this first. There's just so much inconsistency, it's a shame. So we're going to have Stockton Rush himself come out, or, I mean, not literally himself, but, you know, a video clip of him speaking, rather, about the submersible. And now, in this clip, okay, they doing a lot of wordplay to make him look bad, but I want to show you how it's just literally that wordplay, because we're going to take a look at another video and see how stuff just doesn't make sense. We're going to see how the submersible, quote unquote, was designed. We're going to look at if it was in fact designed like this. Why would anyone in their right or wrong mind even go on it, Stockton Rush included? Okay. So let's take a look at this.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when
Did y'all hear that?
anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts.
Okay, so right off the bat, what we have here is Stockton Rush understanding this, that when you try something outside of the box, people think you're nuts. Okay, they're gonna think something's wrong with you. They're gonna think you need to do it this way or not do it, etc., etc., etc. And this is exactly what a lot of people said to him. It's like, dude, you know, you can't go down there on your own. What are you doing? You can't go to those depths without going through the government and clearing this out and etc., etc. But yet he did it. They thought he was nuts. You know, I'm going to continue to play this. Let's go.
Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX. Inside the box, everything's scary.
So notice how he brought up the Elon Musk SpaceX thing, right? But because we haven't had any quote unquote tragedies with that, no one's saying anything, right? Again, how do we know? I mean, we're not being told there were no tragedies or casualties. That's what we're being told with the SpaceX thing with Elon Musk. But ain't nobody got nothing to say about that, right? Isn't that ironic? Isn't that crazy? No one has anything to say about that. Everything's just fine with that. But here we go. We want to criticize Stockton Rush. And you know, anyone that innovates and brings something different to the game, that changes the game, that gives you a little flavor of something you never had before, they're going to call you nuts. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to say, you're not supposed to do this. You can't do it this way, etc., etc., etc. What is wrong with you? They're going to try to say every wrong thing that they could possibly come up with against you until what you do is a success. Now, all of this so-called concern with OceanGate, nobody had the concern on the other 20-something odd successful dives. Right? Where was all this investigation? Where was all this concern on those other dives? And see, the difference is, on those other dives, he didn't visit a particular location or didn't discover things like you did now. Like, they pretty much figured out what he was about and what he was going to do. So in this particular dive, they was like, we can't have you going down there looking for this, doing this type of research, etc., etc., etc. Because once they caught wind of that, you know, that's pretty much a wrap. All of a sudden, we lost communication within an hour and 25 minutes. But let's go.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design. A former employee says that when he raised safety concerns, Rush fired him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification of the Titan by a safety agency. Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
Now, some of y'all, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't go through regulation. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some types of validation, verification, and following up on stuff. I'm not saying any of that, right? Okay. I'm not saying any of this, but let's just think outside of the box, Roddy Rich. Okay. Most people think inside of the box. And when you're a leader and you're an innovator, you have to think outside of the box. When you think outside of the box, you're quote unquote going against the grain. When you go against the grain, people think that something's wrong with you. They think that what you're doing is not proper. You're not doing it right, etc., etc., etc. And this is where we hear all this about Stockton Rush. And I'm going to show y'all how if all of this stuff was so, I'll just put it like this, so not ready for a voyage in the sea, right? Deep within the water. Then how come we're going to see the information I'm about to show you in the video that's coming up, right? Anytime you an innovator, they're going to smear campaign you and shoot you down. Some people be jealous. They be mad that you about to be the first at it. You the best at it. You this, you that. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. But again, my goal in this particular show is to explain to you all that this is an agenda, okay? It's a scapegoat to make the company look bad because you had all this smear campaigning from all these people speaking out against Stockton Rush. Oh, he didn't do this and he was that, da-da-da-da-da. Exactly what I just got finished saying, right? All these people say, you shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have did it. Where were they coming out publicly doing interviews and speaking out on whatever platforms they've been on the other 20-something odd guys, right? Okay. All of a sudden, we get all these people coming out. So then they make him look bad. Then you got his company, all of a sudden out the blue, just completely ceasing operations, which almost makes the company look guilty, right? Imagine if you were doing something and all of a sudden you just stopped in your tracks. What's going on? Well, what happened? Did they run out of money? Well, he was a billionaire and there was no signs of the company not being able to sustain itself. So people are going to start thinking like, well, maybe they were guilty. Maybe that's why they shut everything down. And then all of a sudden, this is going to lead to an investigation in their company. I guarantee you that's the next step. Watch. I'm calling it right now. Since OceanGate has suspended all operations, they already took the submersible so that they can investigate it. Because I'm going to show the footage again of the submersible to show y'all that how in the world could it have been imploded when it looks the way that it looks? Implosion or explosion. I'm going to show y'all what an implosion looks like with a tank or whatever. Appreciate you, Robert. Robert says, you are the best content creator. Thank you for all you do. Much appreciation. God bless. Oh, it's Melissa, I guess, under Robert's account. I appreciate you, Melissa. This is hard work because a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. Yeah, Arnold's right. Arnold says Ringo. Y'all know Ringo TV reactions. I'm sure many of y'all already subscribed to him. But if not, make sure you do. Arnold says Ringo said the same thing. It's something not right about this fiasco. Exactly. It's too many loopholes. The mama saying this, the auntie saying this, the son saying this, the boss, like what is everybody saying something different? All this mixed information, no no during, and no post footage of what's going on. All we found out is that they just down in the water. It's crazy. Like the footage gotta be there, but what happens is this has been planned, and I showed y'all the Simpsons thing. So like the Simpsons does not actually predict anything. They don't have that type of power. What the Simpsons does is show us things that have already been pre-planned to come. So it's not a prediction, because a prediction is a source or a person or something to that extent, a noun that has no idea what's going on. Right? But on The Simpsons, they already know what's about to happen. They have all this stuff planned. So in any case, it showed all of this, so they knew what was going to happen. But let me finish playing this video so I can get to another one.
At some point, safety just is pure waste.
So see right here, they try to make him seem like he doesn't care about safety, and they strategically put these little videos together. Obviously this is a YouTube short. So they strategically put this stuff together to make you all think that Stockton was just reckless. That's the word I want to use, right? So let's go.
I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
Now, he has a point. Okay, what Stockton is talking about is calculated risk. Okay, many of y'all have to think about it. We make calculated risks every day when we decide to leave our house, when we get in cars, we ride in vehicles, buses. I don't care whether you drive or not. Whether you ride with someone or not, you walk somewhere or not. When we go places, everywhere we go, it is a risk. You have to take risks. If you stay safe, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to accomplish anything and do anything. Now, obviously, we take safety within context, but this is what he's saying. To play it safe, we probably won't even be able to go out and explore this or do this. And these are the types of things that he's really referring to. Like, people are hearing safety and they think that, oh, let me just cut corners with my submersible and it's going to fall apart and da-da-da-da-da. Again, if it was going to fall apart, why would he even be on it? If, in fact, these gentlemen were actually on it. That's another question. We didn't see any pre, any during, or any post footage, right? So how do we know they were actually on it? But if they were actually on the vessel, right? Why would he get in something? Okay, let me ask you a question. Why would you get in something that you know is about to be done? If you know you're going to get into a vessel that's going to just tear upon you and your life will be it, right? Why would you even bother to get on something like that? But again, this is the lies that they want y'all to believe. Think this man's crazy. And again, anytime you're an innovator, you create something, you're leaders, you're crazy. This is what people said about me a long time ago. Brain, you're crazy. You can't do this. You can't come at this corner. You can't speak on this and then speak on that and come from this. Hey, I do it all the time. So they call me crazy. Anyway, let's go.
I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to take some risk. And it really is a risk-reward question. I said, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules.
Now, notice he said he could do it just as safely, right? So I want to go to another video, speaking of safely. Let's take a look at the actual vessel. All right, let's go.
Catastrophic implosion. The unthinkable became all too real this past week as we learned of the fate of undersea explorer Stockton Rush's Titan submersible on its way to the Atlantic grave of the Titanic. The questions, the second guessing, David Pogue tells us, are likely to continue for a long time to come.
Last summer, a company called OceanGate invited Sunday Morning to join an expedition to the Titanic. At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole world knows now, OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives.
We're sitting on the Titanic. We are on the Titanic.
Now, I want y'all to take note here. Where were all the complaints with these previous occupants here? Right? Just take a look. There are previous occupants on this same submersible. Let's look.
Or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole world knows now, OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers.
Okay. Notice how you got all these people here. They're on their phones. They just chilling. Right? I just want to leave this up on the screen for a second just so y'all can see it. Because the media is trying to make it seem like this was the first dive. Like, they're trying to paint this scenario that this vessel was weak, it wasn't safe to begin with, etc., and then Stockton Rush jumped a bunch of safety protocols and forgo this and skipped over that. And like they've never taken a dive to test it and prove and see anything that needs to be tweaked. Because you know when you take things out, right? Especially when it comes to vehicles, you know you can tweak them. You can see what's wrong, see what needs to be fixed, adjusted, etc., etc. Yeah, Arnold, I caught that too. Arnold says he just said cursing the weather. Let me run this back since we on this subject. I want y'all to pay close attention.
Somebody called OceanGate invited Sunday morning to join an expedition to the Titanic. At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
Okay, so mind you, this is the gentleman with this particular Sunday morning. I believe that's the company of this particular video, right? So this is the gentleman that is from this company. So I got to clarify this. This has nothing to do with Stockton Rush. This is the gentleman of this company saying that. But let's see what he said again. This is not, that's Stockton Rush. Okay. This gentleman is from this Sunday morning company.
The questions, the second guessing, David Pogue tells
See, that's Stockton Rush. And then this gentleman is someone totally different.
us, are likely to continue for a long time to come.
Last summer, a company called OceanGate invited Sunday morning to join an expedition to the Titanic.
So hopefully y'all saw that. OceanGate invited their company Sunday morning to come. So this gentleman, again, has nothing to do with OceanGate. Just want to clear up the confusion.
At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole
Now, I want to say something. Besides the whole cursing the weather speech, I want y'all to watch what this gentleman is saying about the Titan submersible. Let's just keep listening. Because, you know, they're trying to paint it like this thing was just about to fall apart. And, you know, you just put it down one time and boom, that was it. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. I want to show y'all something real quick and we'll get back to the video. I want y'all to take a look and let me put this on the screen. We'll get back to the video. Okay, what you're seeing here is what tank implosion looks like. Okay, like this is what like tank implosion looks like. And again, if implosion truly happened, like they said it was, like they said it was just boom, it would the okay, y'all gotta stop and think for a second. Let me turn the music off. When the implosion, the way that they said the implosion happened, it just said boom, like it was like boom, like it was an implosion and it literally tore the vessel apart. So if it tore the vessel apart, why does it still look intact? And I'm going to show y'all what it looks like in a second. Skip back to the video. We'll come back to that. Let's go.
The whole world knows now. OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives.
Well, we're sitting on the Titanic. We are on the Titanic.
For 250.
Now, y'all got to understand something. They were sitting on the Titanic. And this wasn't his first trip. So, again, they're trying to make it seem like this was OceanGate's first trip out. Like, they never went out on an expedition to the Titanic, not familiar with the area, the terrain, the conditions, etc., etc. This is how they're trying to make it seem like nothing was planned out, that he just frivolously just took took the billionaires down there and just jumped down and boom. This is how they're trying to paint it. Yet he's done plenty of trips here. This is why he was on it himself. So let's keep going.
$50,000 a ticket on a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible called the Titan.
Carbon fiber is a great material. It's better than titanium. It's better than a lot of other materials.
This.
Now listen, he's telling the gentleman here. So I paused it on purpose. So the gentleman here on the left side of the screen, This is the guy from Sunday Morning, the news article that I'm showing this video footage from, okay? And this is Stockton Rush explaining how the vessel is designed. So I want y'all to pay close attention to this.
Was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives
Well, we're sitting on the Titanic. We are on the Titanic.
for $250,000 a ticket on a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible called the Titan.
Carbon fiber is a great material. It's better than titanium. It's better than a lot of other materials.
This is Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate and the designer of the sub. Last Sunday, as he was piloting the sub to the Titanic, it imploded, killing him and his 4 passengers.
We spent 9 days at sea with Rush last summer, and in wake of the tragic news, we thought you might like to see more of what we saw and hear more of what Stockton Rush said.
Now, mind you, he said he just spent 9 days. Okay? He spent 9 days there. So y'all need to keep this in mind. All right, let's go.
The Titan wasn't like any previous deep-sea submersible. There was no dashboard, just a touchscreen computer and a single power button.
We only have one button. That's it.
Wait a minute, I've seen submersibles, and they are banks of controls, like cockpit after cockpit.
Exactly. This is to other submersibles what the iPhone was to the BlackBerry.
But many of its components seemed surprisingly cheap. For views outside the sub, he had installed store-bought security cameras. As for the ceiling lights,
I got these from Camper World.
then there was the steering unit.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! So, it seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that not raise anybody's eyebrows in the industry?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know keeps asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub? Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the credentials.
He majored in aerospace engineering.
Okay, so I want y'all to pay attention to this. Like, I feel like all of this stuff, like there was bits and pieces of this stage. Like even perhaps on Stockton Rush's end, you know, showing us the technology. Yeah, Arnold's asking the question. He's like, one button. Exactly. Like, I feel like certain things, certain elements doesn't make sense. If this guy has all these credentials, because this is what I'm about to play, right? Why was this vessel so elementary? Like, the design of it, or should we say the functionality of it, was so childlike. Like, even you and I that have no expertise in this particular area could come up with something more complex. So something doesn't make sense. It's as if he did this on purpose. And again, wouldn't this raise questions with the other occupants, not even just the billionaires who are no longer with us, but other people that have been on here? Right? Wouldn't this raise questions? This is crazy, man. Let me run this back. Like, why would you use a camera? Okay, this is this is a quote unquote cheap security camera. This doesn't make sense. A security camera wouldn't be able to sustain those type of temperatures, let alone pressures. Watch this. Let me show y'all something. It's just crazy, man. I just want to show y'all something. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to find something. Just bear with me. Give me 1 second, y'all. Cause the thing is, with these security cameras, they wouldn't even be able to, they're not even like waterproof. Okay, this is the biggest thing here. These quote unquote security cameras, right? Let me, let me just play this. Like, looking at the way this is, a regular security camera wouldn't have the fidelity to capture the type of stuff that we need to capture. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And this looks like it was just this blue tape. It looks like it was taped on. Like, how would that even be able to sustain? Anyway, let's
security cameras. As for the ceiling lights,
now look at that. This is the ceiling lights. It just doesn't make any sense. You mean to tell me this is all the lighting that is in this vessel? Just the handle here? Doesn't make any sense.
I got these from Camper World.
and then there was the steering unit.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! So, it seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that not raise anybody's...
Now, again, this in itself just seems extremely suspect with a gentleman like Stockton Rush with all his credentials. Like, why would he just take this? He's a billionaire. Yeah, Arnold's right. I mean, they use game controllers for everything. Like, this is not the first thing. They control drones and all types of vehicles. They control a lot of space vehicles with a quote-unquote game controller. I mean, it might have more buttons, but it's essentially a game controller. So, I mean, the concepts that he's talking about are not far-fetched. However, it just doesn't make sense if this vessel has these cheap parts, but yet all of this knowledge and wisdom went into it. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's listen to his credentials.
His eyebrows in the industry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know keeps asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub? Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the credentials. He majored in aerospace engineering at Princeton. He designed and flew his own airplanes. He designed previous submersibles. Second, he was emphatic that the important parts of the Titan were rock solid, like the carbon fiber body for which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want to be...
Now, pick game, because I don't know if any other content creator has showed y'all the actual design, like the making of the sub. Okay, so just peep note. I'm showing y'all things that other people haven't shown y'all. So it's a wonder why I don't have 1 million people here right now. But you know, YouTube don't want me to be great, so it is what it is.
Button down, and that's the pressure vessel. Once the pressure vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody, everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargelet, the veteran deep-sea explorer who also perished in the Titan.
Now, peep game. Why would he co-sign Stockton Rush's design of the submersible if it wasn't legit? This is what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't make sense, and a lot of people are lying. You got all these brilliant people here. They have the credentials to back up their quote-unquote intelligence. Right? I mean, even I'm college educated. I mean, You know, it's not to knock anyone that's not college educated, but I am. So, I mean, I'm just saying it stands for something. May not be everything, but it does stand for something. And it just doesn't make any sense here how even if Stockton Rush was off his marbles, why would this other genius billionaire stand behind his design? I mean, listen.
Carbon fiber body, for which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want to be buttoned down, and that's the pressure vessel. Once the pressure vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody, everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargelet, the veteran.
Mind you, he's an expert here, Nargelet. An expert. An expert.
Veteran deep sea explorer who also perished in the Titan. Over the years, he'd been to the Titanic more than just about anyone.
Now, mind you, he's been in the water. Do you not think that one time he's not been on this submersible before? Or talked to Stockton Rush about what's required to be able to sustain a trip? Y'all got to start peeping game.
How many times have you been?
With the last dive, 37 times.
You've been to the Titanic 37 times?
Yes. I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs.
How different is the Titan from those other subs?
Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I have a phone call with.
Now you hear this. He said he never worried about the safety of that sub. And this is an expert. So this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. They lying to y'all about what took place here. Listen.
Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I have a phone call with Stockton, and he explained to me that he was doing a lot of tests. He showed me the ways they were building the stuff. I say, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem to die.
You hear this? He said that's fine, that's fine. He has no problem with it. Not one. This is an expert saying that the way that Stockton was building and designing the Titan submersible, there was no problem. You would think with all these quote-unquote problems, a video game controller, I forgot the store, little cheap lights, one button, you know, superior security cameras and stuff like that and all of that. You would think with all that he would have a problem with all that if that was actually legit. To be honest with you, I don't believe that stuff was legit because a lot of the stuff that they were showing in that design, I feel like that was like prototype version, and I really don't see stuff matching up with that, with the actual quote-unquote version that went down. But anyway, let's go.
I was also impressed by the sub's 7 redundant systems for returning to the surface.
Now listen, the sub had 7 redundant systems. Okay, I'm trying to break this down because I don't know if anybody else has explained this, the level of detail. You've got 7 redundant systems. Do y'all know what redundant means? This means that it's going to operate on its own, that you don't need anybody to operate or quote unquote, it doesn't require much of anything for these things to operate, okay? That's to make the long story short of what these quote-unquote redundant systems make. And it has 7 of them. Don't you think that there was some issue they should have been able to return to the surface? Increase their altitude? You mean there was no communication with the mothership at the surface? Yeah, man, something else going on. They took these jokers out. Let's go.
These are roll weights. We can actually roll this up and those come off. That gains us some buoyancy to come back to the surface. Okay. These triple weights, we call them, are hydraulically driven.
Expedition manager Kyle Bingham.
Underneath this tray hang these bags. We're around 35 pounds. And those hang down there. Typical dive will have 8 of them. We can also use our thrusters. We have enough power to thrust back up. And then under this last fairing here, we have our variable ballast tank or soft ballast. It's an air bladder that we use a big 10,000 PSI air tank that's under the tail to fill that up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out.
So do you hear this? This is what I'm saying. You hear about all this stuff is here at play, even if they passed out, if they weren't conscious, etc., 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 etc. But yet they're trying to make it seem like that Stockton Rush didn't do his research and didn't know what's what. There was so many safety precautions on here. It almost would be impossible for them to have been stuck. I mean, just me as a certified scuba diver, and I understand buoyancy far beyond the average person. I've been certified since I was 12 years old. So, not to put anything out here, but I got over 30 plus years in the game. Okay? I understand about buoyancy control and what it takes, salt water, fresh water, different altitudes. I understand what it takes for anyone or anything to float or should we say ascend or descend. And with all of these systems in here, that vessel should have easily been able to come up. Easily. Unless something deliberately was holding them down or something deliberately sabotaged them. It makes no sense. Like, at the very least, we should have found them at the surface. Like, maybe they ran out of air at the surface. Do y'all see what I'm trying to say? It makes no sense, the narrative that they're saying. I'm the only content creator showing you all about all the things. They got thrusters. They can take the oxygen, fill the tank up. Boom. That's the same thing with a buoyancy vest with scuba divers. Like I said, I told you, I'm a certified scuba diver. I've been down 100 plus feet before underwater. Most people here, pretty much every content creator has never set foot in the water or been underwater. I've been underwater with sharks, eels, barracuda, all that stuff y'all be crying about, y'all be scared of, thinking it's about to get you. I've been underwater with all that stuff. Octopus, all that junk. I've been underwater with all that type of sea life. I done seen all types of stuff. I've done night dives, drift dives. I've been down to shipwrecks. I've seen this stuff myself. I'm certified. So I'm literally certified to talk about this. And if this Titan submersible, in fact, had all of these safety precautions, there is no way that they should have got stuck down there. And they've been on this trip over and over again, so they are aware of the terrain and they know what's around. It's not like they've never been out here. Oh, gee, we've never encountered this, unless something was down there that was setting them up. You know, now they could have been in that situation. Something could have been down there to set them up to keep them from being able to come up, which again leads on to another thing. I told y'all, I believe they've been sacrificed. It happened around a full moon. That's another conversation for another day. A lot of these evil jokers be doing these type of sacrifices around this time. But anyway, let's continue to listen to these systems.
Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
Whoa, wait a minute. What's this? Hold on.
That we use a big 10,000 PSI air tank that's under the tail to fill that up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out. Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
So you have a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup.
Correct.
Now, a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup, but yet they were stuck down there. Somebody make it make sense. There's no way this submersible should have been stuck down there unless something deliberately kept them down there or more so destroyed them. Let's go. And mind you, this is old dude from the news company here, and he's on the submersible himself. Look at it. This is clearly the Titan submersible with the quote-unquote cheap handles. The cheap handles and all that stuff. Here it is right here, and he's on it.
Please stand by.
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were checklists.
Look at this. Wait. Let's see if we can run that back. Hold on, y'all.
Correct.
All stations are reporting the dive is go. Please stand by.
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were
Okay, let's take a look at this checklist. So the crew themselves foster safety. So we hear all these safety measures in place, yet the media will have you to believe that Stockton Rush took no safety precautions. See how they be trying to get y'all, and y'all got to do your research and actually find out the truth, but they know that 99% of the population is not going to do their research, so they're not going to know what the truth is, and they're going to believe whatever the narrative that telling lies to your vision. That's what television is. Telling lies to your vision is going to say. Let's look at this. Look, get larger diameter sea anchor. Amber's supposed to purchase this. Light junction box corrosion issue. Bonding cable. Mike is supposed to get this. Oh, this is closed. He did it. These are all the things. They needed a port forward hatch cover on the platform is leaking. Okay, Chris was supposed to fix this. Troubleshoot thruster dropouts. Look, Phil's supposed to work on this. LPA tanks on the platform need relocation. Chris and Tim or whatever. Control pod swap. Look at all these people. Install synthetic foam. Fill the Titan. Fill the platform. Add bleed vent to valve. Okay, on the hose. Longer hose on control bottle. Pan and tilt. Will not tilt. Okay. Antonella's supposed to work on this. Need to look at an attachment for a current sister. Regulator for a dome dolly needs testing and inspection. Clean and organized container workbench. Change batteries, both keyboards and Titan. Flip the forward tanks on the platform 180 degrees for clearance. Make a signage exterior of the submersible. Labels on external HB8 manifold are faded and hard to see. Look, all this stuff, and this is just what we can see on the screen that they're supposed to be working on. So there was a lot that went into making sure that things were done. Unless they're going to come out and try to say that all these things weren't done. But how do we know? Because, quote unquote, the vessel imploded. Anyway, let's go.
checklists, inspections before and after every dive.
Now listen to this. They're doing inspections before and after every dive. But yet they have you to believe that Stockton Rush was just taking people down and there was no checks or no safety precautions going on. Let me tell y'all something. This submersible was on point to go down here. Think what you want, but it was safe to go down there. So they're feeding us some other narrative, and why would they get rid of these gentlemen unless they discover something or they was about to discover something and reveal something to the general public that the powers that be didn't want to be revealed?
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were checklists, inspections before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule.
Do y'all hear this? 3 strikes rule in place.
If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive.
Okay, so did y'all hear that? He said 3 strike rules in place. Man, y'all need a peak game, man. Listen.
Things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive. Finally, I learned that actions before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule. If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive.
So, don't you think that the Titan submersible was inspected before they was ready to go? And that none of these things were out of line? And that everything was in order and in line? Because this was a part of the company's operations? But yet they'll have you to believe that the company's operations didn't operate with this type of efficiency and this quality control. So if all of these things were put into place before they went down, it means that the submersible was as safe as any other vehicle out there. So if it was safe, how in the world did it implode? Unless the military got some secrets, whatever, to cause an implosion and wanted to get rid of the vessel. I'm just trying to let y'all know I'm the only content creator that has given you this footage here. Literally showing you the quality control steps. I'm not just talking out my ass. I'm showing it to y'all. Here's the video footage. You're seeing what the company does. Very thorough, in my opinion. Let's go.
I learned that the hard way on our own dive.
We're in the water. We're floating. Woo!
At this point, divers are supposed to detach the sub from its launch platform.
So apparently those floats there came off the platform, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
Okay, so y'all hear that? He's scrubbing the dive because before they could even get down, there was a procedure where the floats didn't operate the way that they were supposed to, and they canceled the dive. So don't you think if there was any issue, like, y'all gotta understand something, man. You're not just gonna have this catastrophic failure where all these safety systems go out on you. This is why you have this safety system and that safety system and that safety system, so that all these things work in tangent together, in unison together, to prevent a catastrophic failure. And then it was checked out beforehand. And you clearly see him aborting a dive because of this.
I never did see the Titanic, and I wasn't unusual. In OceanGate's first 2 summers of Titanic operations, it spent a total of 50 days floating above the shipwreck site. But because of waves, bad weather, and malfunctions, the Titan actually made it to the Titanic only 12 times.
Okay, so top 12 times this Titan has made it to the Titanic underwater. Just telling y'all, don't make sense.
But through it all, Stockton Rush defended his unconventional approach.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX. Inside the box, everything's scary.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design. A former employee says that when he raised safety concerns, Rush fired him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification of the Titan by a safety agency.
Now, we may never know why that engineer got fired. That's what we're told. It could have been some other reasons going on. We have no idea. I mean, we only have that one side of the story. So, I mean, all we could do is kind of quote unquote run with it. But I would like to propose something doesn't make sense. If there were so many quality checks, what it sounds like is that safety engineers like, hey, we want you to go through the system. But again, if you go through the system, they probably wouldn't even allow them to get down. Think about how many times people get tied up in the system and they're unable to operate and do things. And they get tied down with red tape because they're trying to do this and make sure this is legit and do this, and they never actually get a chance to do what they were trying to do. So, you know, there's a method to the madness, so to speak, on why Stockton Rush didn't quote unquote go through that. He already knew this. Let's go.
Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
See, the regulation, if he went according to regulation would say you need to make a spear-shaped submersible and not this long-shaped submersible, right? Because all the other ones are like spear-shaped. So then he wouldn't be able to go down or take passengers down. And then all of this quote-unquote innovation, he wouldn't even be able to do this. You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't even be able to take other passengers with him. Do y'all understand what's going on? So I'm trying to explain it from this side so that y'all can get this aspect. Because many times people say, hey, you know, you do it this way, then you may never get a chance to actually embark on or reveal to the public the things that you're working on. This whole narrative here, something just does not make sense if all of these safety precautions were taking place, but then he was quote unquote not safe. And I don't think we're going to hear from any part of his staff or anyone that's worked with him and said that, oh yeah, all this was legit, right? I don't think we're going to hear from any of them because they're silenced them, right? We're not going to hear from anyone who could back up what Stockton Rush says, because the narrative is they want Stockton Rush to fall for this. They want to take his technology They want to make him fall. They want to destroy what's going on, etc., etc. They want him and his technology. While they're looking at his technology, they want him to take a fall. And speaking of which, let's take a look real quick at the footage. Right? Let's take a look at the footage real quick.
Pieces of the Titan.
Okay, many of y'all have seen this already. You know, I mean, it just looks like it was completely unbolted. Like, look at how, like, this right here, nothing's destroyed. Like, look at the top here and the 3 holes, the 3 bolt holes here. Nothing looks destroyed. It just looks like they literally recovered the submersible and they took it apart. Like, I mean, just look at it. And all the parts look like that. All the parts look like that. Just look. Again, look at how intact all these parts look. All right, we'll listen to what she got to say.
And what else officials are looking at as this investigation continues.
Yeah, so those pieces of debris you see, Bianna, are from Pelagic Research, and they're the ones that operated the remote-operated vehicle near the Titanic wreck. They had first mapped out the debris field. And then what's extraordinary here, Bianna, is that they brought up such large pieces of Titan. You can actually see the dome and the viewport, and if you compare what they brought up today to the submersible when it was intact, certainly a lot to go by there. We had been told by the U.S. Coast Guard when they first announced this tragedy that in their term, the area was unforgiving and a very challenging and remote area in which to recover debris. But here we are. We do see quite a few pieces of it. I have to say, obviously, it's with some disquiet. This is the resting.
I mean, like, everything looks like it's intact. Every single piece that they brought up looks like they just literally dismantled it. Am I the only one? Is anybody able to respond in the chat? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that the submersible was fully intact and that they just took it apart. Put a 1 in the chat if you're able to, if you think that this submersible, again, based upon the pictures of the pieces and the video footage of the pieces, if this actually looks like it was imploded, or does it look like they just took it apart?
Place.
I'll play a little bit so y'all can see it. Every last piece looks like it was just taken apart. It doesn't look like anything blew apart or anything was damaged.
See all of this play out. I will say, though, this investigation is very important, though, to many people and many countries. Right here in Canada, the Transportation Safety Board trying to determine exactly what went on. They've conducted many interviews. They refused to say to me today where those pieces of debris are headed, but they will be headed to labs either in the United States or in Canada to be examined further. And I will mention as well, Bianna, that obviously the RCMP, the National Police Force here, is determining whether or not a criminal investigation needs to be opened. And again, the more that they can salvage from the deep sea, the more that they will have answers, because the last thing anyone wants here is for this to be a guessing game. So see,
that's the next narrative. The next narrative is they want to bring up criminal charges. They already painting this picture. Stockton rushed his job. He don't know what he's talking about. He didn't listen to experts. He should have went down there. He didn't take any safety precautions. There's safety to the wind. And then they are like painting. They got the company to essentially cease operations indefinitely. And then they're going to try to like come after the company, which is his company, because they can't come after Stockton because they obviously deleted him. I mean, oops, he got deleted in the implosion. They deleted him. Y'all know what I'm talking about, sacrifice. So they can't come after him literally, but they can come after his company. See how they do? Make you take the fall. Like, it's your thing, your venture, and they're going to make you take the fall for it.
So this recovery, an important operation, Bianna.
Yeah, and I'm sure as painful as this may be for the victims' families, I'm sure they would like to see some of this evidence as well and see where this investigation leads. Paula Newton, thank you. Well, joining.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, I guess we could look at this. We'll take a listen to this part.
I'm sure they would like to see some of this evidence as well and see where this investigation leads.
Let's
Paul
take a
Newton,
look at
thank
this
you.
real quick.
Well, joining us now is Bart Kemper. He's an engineer and was one of the dozen experts in the submersible craft industry who actually raised concerns in 2018 about how OceanGate's Titan vessel was made. He warned back then that the company's experimental approach could result in catastrophic consequences.
Well, here we go. This is just another guy. They got a bunch of experts speaking out, again, saying how Stockton Rush didn't do his job. But y'all understand, y'all see, like, look at this. Look at how everything looks intact. Where's the implosion? Does any part of this look bent? Like, they're trying to wrap it up, and I really don't know why they got it wrapped up. But I see nothing that shows sign of implosion. If you look at the spear, it looks like it's still completely intact. Everything looks intact. It just looks like they took the submersible and they just like they just took it apart. So, you know, it is what it is. I pretty much went into this, explained a lot. I guarantee the next step is now that they got the company to be shut down, and then they're going to bring the company up on criminal charges. You know, this is how they're going to close this thing out. Somebody's got to take the fall for this, but it's not going to be the culprit. It's not going to be the U.S. government. It's not going to be the Coast Guard. It's not going to be the Navy. They're going to make them fall for this. Y'all know how this goes. Just know anytime you try to expose the truth, they try to make you fall, make you look like you the crazy one. So, I said enough on this. I broke this out. I got a lot more to come. Y'all stay tuned. I'll be back with content. All right. I just had to take some time off, but I'm back. So, you like this content, make sure you subscribe, get the notification bell. All right, get the likes up. Please feel free to share any of my videos with your Facebook or social media groups, your friends, your family, coworkers, etc. If there's a particular story you'd like for me to cover, hit up that PayPal, that Cash App, or that Venmo. And in the message section, put either the story or the version of the story that you would like for me to cover. All right, and I'll get to it. Because I get tons of messages all the time, emails and social media. I can't get to all of that to everybody. So it is what it is. That will pretty much ensure that you will get your particular concerns of what content you would like for me to cover or what stories done in a video. So with that being said, I'm getting out of here. I told you already to please subscribe, like, comment, share, get the PayPal, Cash Up, Venmo up. I'm also a life coach. Book your appointments today via video chat, video recording, phone conversations, and in person in the local ATL area. I can help you with business, love, career, spiritual, you name it. I do it. Check the information in the description box or just go to brainwaves.com. With that being said, I'm out for now, and I will be back later. Appreciate y'all, and I'm sending y'all away, as I always do, with love, with blessings, and with light.